This is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs Amakhosi Football Club. And in today's video, we are talking about the injury crisis that we are facing as Kaizer Chiefs right now. We have a few players who are out injured. We have Rif Rosler, we have Solomons, we have Matoho, Nange and Cole. And in the Nange, I don't understand how he's mentioned as one of the players who's injured, because last I checked, he played in the previous game. So in my books, I don't count Unange as a person who's injured. But if I'm a reporter insisting that Unange is injured, well, who am I? Unange is injured. But let's talk about the implications of injuries, because when someone gets injured, then something has to happen. Other teams that care enough, they actually sign players to replace those players who are injured. But we know our team does not give two hoops about that, so we should forget Indabama signings. So let's start with the obvious one, right? Indabaga, Rif Rosler and Dylan Solomons, which is funny actually if you think about it, because Ugezana bumps into Riv and then Riv gets injured. And then in a way, some people were like, oh yes, it's a blessing in disguise. Riv Rosler gets injured. Now we get Solomons. Solomons comes in and then he gets his shoulder dislocated. Now he's also out. And that means he's not going to be back for maybe a few weeks. So that now means with Frosler with a broken jaw, as one has said, potentially a broken jaw. And on the other hand, you have Frosler, Solomons now on his side with the dislocated shoulder. You don't have a right backs. So basically, we are lacking in that area and we don't have anyone who's playing a right back. Which brings the question, Yoguti, who is going to play a right back in the absence of these guys? And I think I have the answer. So in the previous game, one of the answers, that is me. What is Zwane going to actually do with our crisis at the back? So I think this is what's going to happen. I think since Ungezana has already been introduced into our starting 11 and Uzwane was kind of reluctant to bench Ukwinika, I think what we might see happening is that Ungezana, since he has played as a right back, he's going to go and play right back, and then we're going to see a partnership Dove and Ukwinika resume again. And this in a way kind of what is this thing? It kind of protects Ungezana, because a lot of people have been saying, I'm fine with Ungezana starting, but as long as he's not playing as a center back, because if he's playing as a center back, that's where he's likely to make mistakes, costly mistakes. But on the side, you are just expecting him to deal with Ama 1v1 against Ama defenders. So once that happens, then you have Ungezana playing as a right back naturally, and then in a situation that can be better managed for him, not for the entire team, obviously, going forward, because as we know, as much as Ungezana is good defensively, Ngama 1v1s, the problem with him, he does not offer what Frosler on paper offers. Because right now, what we are going with or on is the fact that Frosler is good on paper. We know he can deliver good balls into the box. Solomons, he has the quality. He's quick going forward, lightning quick. He's quick to support Abantu who are playing through the middle. And if he's running wide, and then they can play him through, and then he can cross Amapola into the box. Ungezana, though, although he has played as a right back, he hasn't really shown he is strong and he can dominate that position and kind of get each Chiefs what they need creatively from that side. So as much as it might be the solution, a right back, he's not like the most ideal person that you want to be playing in that position. So in a way, it's good, but not entirely what you would like, but it will kind of do both things. In a way, it will give Ungezana time to regain his confidence, not being in the spotlight so good he's a center back again or Tata is scheme from Kwinik. And at the same time, it will be easy ukuthi makuthi uKwinik uyaqhubeka kuyabed, then we just push Ungezana back to his center back, and then we transition uKwinik out. So in a way, if Ungezana ends up being the permanent defender or center back, uzobe ese warm to the playing style, uzobe sejwayele ukuthi how the pieces move, how the pieces fit into his style as Kazwane overall. So I think for me right now, that's the solution that I see. I have seen another solution, people that have been floating around, which I don't get. Uguti will take Udove and play him as right back. I'm like, oh no, we can't change again the system yet to swing. I mean, it might defend. We can't take Udove and play him right back, because once you do that, the next thing you have, that means you are bringing back Ukwinik. You are playing Ukwinik, who's extremely what's the word, costly when it comes to playing in that position. He will just make mistakes, and then you are playing him alongside Ungezana, who's just shaky as well. And funny enough, ukuthi makuzoba naleyo nto leyo kuzomenzani mentality kakeeper ngemuva, owazi ukuthi all these guys are shaky, anything can happen at any time ngalama defender. So I don't think you need to change everything. So I think the option Ungezana as a right back is still the best solution. Playing Udove as in that position is not the greatest position. And I think ama comments ngizowafunda, yes, but on the 15th minute, by the way, because what I want to do now is to get this part of the content out of the way, me talking to you, and then as you guys are joining in and are making ama comments, I will start reading ama comments in as well and respond to you, so that issue ibe ne order ukuthi ngiyakhuluma and then ngifunda ama comments enu and then sibe naleyo interaction, because I'm still trying to structure ama live streams ngesikhathi is right. And by the way, we go live every day at 7:30, so please do make sure ukuthi you are here at 7:30, because uzongifica sengikhuluma sengithi odova usazi nokuthi ngikhuluma ngani. So yes, we go live at 7:30 each and every week day. Okay, so let me continue. Another one that I think very people will eventually start suggesting is Unjabulo Ngcobo, because he did play in that position when he got voted into that position with Derby, but he's not fast enough to play as a right back. So I think kuzoba inkinga leyo futhi ukudlalisa Unjabulo Ngcobo as a right back, especially because of the other problem that I'm going to talk about, my defensive midfielders. So if Unjabulo Ngcobo, anything happens ngaye, I would want to see him being introduced as a center back, because uKwinik we're giving him a timeout, so then use that chance to introduce the other players or reintroduce other players in the case Unjabulo Ngcobo, because he has played in this season, when's a mistake and then wagcina engadlaliswanga. So that happened. Okay, so now I move on from ama center backs. Siya issue that every Kaizer Chiefs fan has been talking about, ama defensive midfielders. Yo, this issue, abantu bayakhala ngale issue. Chiefs sign a defensive midfielder. Chiefs is not signing anyone. We need a defensive midfield. And I understand. Chiefs doesn't have a defensive midfielder, and in other games you can deal with it, but in other games it's difficult. You just need someone who's dedicated on the position, right? Sometimes you just need someone who's going to sit and worry about the defensive side and let everyone else worry about going forward, right? So that is what made Ublom fit so well in our team. That is what made Ukatsane fit so well in the team, because ubengekho worried by being a deep lying playmaker. He wasn't worried about creating chances. No, it was just about destroying anything that tried to attack the Chiefs. That was his job. But now, if you have a Sitebe and a Mart playing a double pivot, inkinga is about ukuthi they are always trying to balance. You understand? They're always trying to balance between defending and attacking. Okay, ubani uhamba, ubani uhlala, ubani uhamba. Khumbula sidlala emakhaya ibhola, makudlala i-4-4-2 especially sithi thina, okay, sidlala 4-4-2. Khona uhlalayo, khona uhambayo. But mangekho nje dedicated ukuthi sinomdlali natural we-defensive midfield, kuzohlezi kunaleyo nto ukuthi okay uyahluleka uthi khambe mina, yabo. Kanti makwazi ukuthi your role is to create chances, your role is to destroy. It's much easier i-flow, i-responsibility ayikho lento ukuthi mangena igoli siyakhombana ukuthi awena siyazi ukuthi ubani osidlisile. Mangena igoli nje siyazi ukuthi wena bekumele umake lapha but awumakanga. But lento leyo ukuthi sine double pivot ibuye ihluphe makuukuthi akekho umdlali olokhunjayo or dedicated into that position. And with Cole injured, it then takes away that option yokuthi let's experiment with him and play him as a defensive midfielder. I did see Unange come on this weekend and playing in that midfield position, because it does seem like now Chiefs are actually, Ozwane should I say, because he's the coach, is moving slowly into the idea of, you know what, I must actually start playing Unange, as much as when he did get a chance with Makuf, and I think with Makuf, he wasn't that impressive, but maybe Uzwane is figuring good, let me just give him a chance to play. It's just perhaps the fact that he hasn't played that much, and if he plays for a certain amount of time, he will improve. So eswini, it leaves us with ukuthi vele kushuthi into esisazoyisebenzisa i-double pivot, and if kungesiyona i-double pivot kaMart noSithebe noma uMart noZwane, Ozwane noSithebe, the other thing that could possibly happen is we did see Unjabulo Ngcobo playing in that position as well. So we could see Unjabulo Ngcobo playing as a defensive midfielder if Kuguti were playing against a team that needs us to control the middle, that needs us to defend in the middle. Angazi ukuthi what kind of game that would be, but it does seem like Unjabulo Ngcobo, Uzwane, because we're playing against Arrows, he brought him on as a defensive midfielder. So bona ukuthi kusazoqhubeka nalokho, because the 3 games that we played after winning against the Arrows were just bad. So it wasn't time to experiment udliwa. But manje ngoba sesike sathi ukuwina igame eyodwa, maybe usengaphinda abuyele into that experimentation, because I feel like enye into vele eyenzakalayo this season was one that some people need to understand ukuthi there's going to be a lot of experimentations, and the coach should be allowed to do that. Ukuthi ke at this time was saying we can't afford our experiments, because all we want to do is we want to win. So yeah, that's what makes these things a bit tricky as well. When it comes to Khama, we've talked about Khama ukuthi as a winger, there are players who are working much harder than him and are doing much more work, or Sekhota or Dupree on that side. Even Umduma Mdlali sakwa left, we tracker back, aphinde akunikeze more going forward because they still have legs. Centrally, khona uDuba manje, khona uCaleb, uSahele mabemdlalisa centrally, so we're not worried about uKhama that much. On the right kudlala uDoli, kudlala uSekhota, kudlala uMdu. So Caleb is uKhama is not really affecting it performance at Chiefs overall. And uMatoho naye, he's not played that much this season, so it then makes you think, okay, the only way that uMatoho could have been involved in how Chiefs is playing is if Nai is brought on as an experiment, but it doesn't seem like Uzwane will be experimenting with him, and certain people will have a problem with that. But my thing is, I think uMatoho is leaving at the end of the season, so I get why Uzwane is kind of not really utilizing him that much because he knows ukuthi in any case he's leaving end of the season, contract yakhe yaphela, and I don't think they will be renewing it. So I think that's what's happening.